We appreciate that. Yeah, see? My brother gets on it.
All right, you ready? Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. I move to call this Fairfield Township Board of Trustees public hearing for the 2025 tax budget to order. Mrs. Schultz, may I have the roll, please?
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Here.
Trustee Birding.
Present.
Trustee McAbee.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Mrs. Schultz.
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee McAbee.
Yes.
Any discussion or testimony regarding the 2025 tax budget?
Does anybody have any questions? I sent it out maybe 6 weeks ago. Very similar to last year and every other year. Very conservative. Carryover should be way higher than it shows, but it's conservative. When the rates come in, you guys can decide what you want to do at that time. I think I explained last time how I got the numbers, but so let me know if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Yes.
Trustee McAbee.
Yes.
That passes. And motion to adjourn at 7:02.
Second.
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee McAbee.
Yes.
All right. We will now move forward to the regular meeting. The time is now 7:03 p.m. on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. I move to open this Fairfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. Mrs. Schultz, may we have a roll, please?
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Here.
Trustee Birding.
Present.
Trustee McAbee.
Here.
We will not be having the invocation tonight, and we already did the pledge previously in the tax budget meeting. So we'll move forward to items for board discussion. The first being Fairfield Prevention Coalition.
Yes, thank you. Every item on board discussion, except for the increased full-time staffing, I sent a detailed memo which hopefully helped the board. Did you want me to recap everything, or did we want to ask questions?
Are there any questions on any of the information that was presented?
Well, I think for the public's knowledge, I think you should do just a brief recap of the items so the general public understands what we're talking about.
Okay, happy to do that. So with the Fairfield Prevention Coalition, I explained the One Ohio income that we received from all the settlements with the pharmaceutical companies, and we had the Fairfield Drug Prevention Coalition come out and request a donation. They're also going to other townships, and it depends on what the board would like to do. You can do an amount, you cannot do an amount, so it's the will of the board on that. I think I made a recommendation of $10,000, but if that's, seems high, then you can advise accordingly. So that's
What are other board members' thoughts on that?
I'm in agreement. I think that would be good usage of those funds. I think $10,000 is a reasonable amount and a good place for those funds to be used for prevention. So I don't know, do we need a motion to do those things? Is that something that we have to have a resolution at the next meeting?
However you would like to proceed, it would have to be by motion or resolution. It's your prerogative. If you'd like to do it today, you can do it by motion.
I'll also need an amendment of permanent appropriations if we do that.
So they have to be appropriated first, and then we can have a motion to.
Can you amend appropriations by motion?
You could, if you'd like to do that tonight as well.
If you guys want to pay him before next meeting, then you can go ahead and do both, or we can wait, whatever you want to do.
Thoughts?
I just soon have the resolution prepared at the next meeting.
Okay.
And we can do the appropriations. We have appropriations, making adjustments to appropriations tonight already.
So would you recommend having it appropriated for $10,000 or?
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see that on the next meeting.
Roundabout landscaping, I did, Diane was, my driver, and we did go around. Chuck had, shown a vision. Now, where did all my pictures go? They were all just, okay. So there were various
Can you enlarge that?
roundabouts. This is, can you see it?
No, can you enlarge that?
Do you want me to turn off the lights? Would that be easier?
I don't know if that would help or not.
Maybe, yeah, hit the.
This is already in there.
Bottom right, shouldn't it be? Can you do the bottom right? It should do full screen. Nope, right there, yep. There you go.
So we drove down Milliken, and two of the roundabouts driving down Milliken, this is Liberty Township, just plain grass. So there is an option there. We have a more detailed
Not connected.
Rob. So this is a more detailed, there were rocks and plants, shrubbery, trees. So we saw anything from very simple with just grass to in Westchester, there was, gosh, it was a very elaborate, just you can see trees, foliage. I mean, each one was so different. So I just wanted to give examples of what different entities have done. So I know Chuck's estimate came in at $60,000, and it was very full. So the board will have to decide: do you want just grass? Do you want some level of shrubbery? Just what that looks like, and that doesn't have to be decided tonight. But I did want it on your radar.
Well, with the target completion date being in August, in early August, if we don't decide something, they're gonna see his drawing.
Correct.
Correct, Mr. Owens?
Yeah, that's correct. We don't necessarily have to do this landscaping right now. We could postpone it till the fall. We could postpone it till next year. It's just easier it'd been nice to kind of duplicate the work, have the work done while work's being done, the road's closed. It's doable, and some places have done it, either way. So it's not something that we have to make a decision on right now if we're going to landscape it or not. Some of the companies I've talked to said that the timeline doesn't work for them, so they weren't really interested in giving a bid. But others were able to kind of work with our timeline if we would be interested in getting it landscaped. I know we did talk about this, I guess, I don't know, months back, and the board did kind of prefer the lesser option of just doing the grass. We wanted to revisit it, since it is, Julie mentioned in her memo, it's, the proximity of it to, what we're doing here and Heroes Park and everything. It seems like it would be a good location to have, something that has a little more
Appeal.
cohesive vibe to, what's going on here at the park. But again, it doesn't have to be decided right now. If we postpone it, it is what it is.
Would it help if we gave different scenarios with costs?
I think 60 is a lot. I think 60 is a whole lot. So I'd like to see some lower, still classy, but not in that price range. And I would like to see whatever it is incorporate Fairfield Township in some way or form that says Fairfield Township. But I'd really prefer something that's a little less expensive than that.
So what would be a good number to kind of target? I think we could do as little or as much as the budget allows. Touching on what you mentioned with like something that says Fairfield Township, I think that would be a good idea. Something that the city of Fairfield has done is had these like ground mounted kind of emblems, and we could do something like that for a price. And I've engaged a sign company on that, but I don't have any clue on what cost would be or sizing. I wanted to talk to you guys about this before I wasted anybody's time. But I think it would be nice to have a couple emblems similar to what the city has and landscape it, but it's going to cost some money. The quotes just to get the soil right for plants to be able to be planted in for like root growth. I was getting quotes just for that piece, like $15,000, $20,000 just to like amend all the soil so it's not just bad dirt. So that's just stuff to take into consideration. But I think it would be helpful to have a budget in mind and a rough timeline if you guys are interested in moving forward.
Well, it's, in my opinion, I feel like right now we should stick with the grass until people are used to driving in that roundabout. So there's not a lot of distractions for people getting used to driving. That if we're, we also talk about that's, the safe path to schools is going to be coming through soon, right? And I mean, I know that's not being worked on that roundabout there, but
That's right.
there's a lot going on.
More potential work.
And I agree with Trustee Harkemaier. I think $60,000 is a lot. I didn't realize topsoil was $20,000. But again, if we're doing rock work, then you don't need that, right? So I have seen some studies where beautiful landscaping is a distraction for drivers entering roundabouts, and they lose track of vehicles entering the roundabout, and because they're looking at shrubbery and signage, and then you have accidents. So I would have to be convinced to spend a lot of money to add enhance landscaping to that roundabout. I do understand it's sort of the gateway to our park and our admin building, but at the same time, I think, in my opinion, I think we need to look at people getting used to using that roundabout first before we go about spending more money on it, my opinion only. But I could be convinced if someone had a compelling argument about, hey, if we did this at this amount of money, I don't know, it sounds like a good idea, but right now I don't have that opinion.
Right.
Thoughts?
I'm in no rush either. I'd kind of like to get it settled in there. If we do put something in, I would recommend it be something that's low maintenance or self-maintaining and not spending a ton of money on plants that may or may not make it a couple years. So that speaks to rocks or structural kind of things. And again, I'm in no rush on that one. There's other things that I think are more of a priority for us to spend our money on here in Fairfield Township.
Trustee McAfee?
Sounds good to me. I like grass and straw.
Okay. So no movement on that right now. Perfect, okay.
I can do that. Yep.
Okay, Veterans Memorial update.
We met with Del Hodge. He has started working with the QR code to see how that will look, sound, and be attached to the different monuments outside. Again, footers have been put in for the two monuments. We're working on etching with that. We're also working on etching for a couple benches. So Barney Landry bought one, and the Birding family bought one, and so we're working on it. It's all beautiful, but Jim Smith has been wonderful. Everything's full steam ahead, and we're also starting to plan the Veterans Day parade and events. So everything's going great there. Insurance update. I did provide a recommendation from the broker and from everything that I have seen and reviewed and we talked with employees, talked extensively. This is a very similar package to what we have. We're actually saving $200,000, negative 9%, and there's a whole list of free medication. There's a wellness piece. It looks really good. Co-pays are very similar. So this would be another year of coming out net positive.
That's a big deal in today's day and age.
And there was a resolution on today's agenda for that.
There is.
Great work.
Anything further?
That's all I had on insurance, unless there's other questions.
I looked through the packet, I couldn't get the 9%. I'm not sure where they were talking about saving 200,000. I see the numbers, but.
And I highlighted it.
Humana was 1.1 million. That's what we had before, right? And this is at 1,030,000. So, it's 100,000 maybe, but it's not 200,000.
Well, so with this insurance, we have to renew July 1st, and the way the broker explained it and everything she showed me annualized, renewing on July 1st, we'd save $185,000.
And it's nowhere in this packet, I didn't see it. Was it in the dialogue?
Well, there was that other packet we had that.
It is in the dialogue.
If we're gonna move the renewal date, why don't we get on the calendar year?
Isn't Humana canceling us though as of a certain date?
August 1st.
Right, so we can't really wait till.
Does Anthem only do 7/1 as their renewal date? I thought I seen that written somewhere.
I was
They didn't give us a choice based on what I read. Instead of 8/1, it's gonna be 7/1, so I'm just saying, why couldn't it be either 25 or 26 and get off the middle of the year thing?
Yeah, I understood. I understand the question. According to what she told me, this is a pool of different townships. It's not just us, and all of them renew on July 1st. All of them renew every year at the same time on July 1st.
So going forward, they're gonna give us credit for deductibles and out-of-pocket, all based on the calendar year, but still gonna be renewing July 1st?
Correct. Now, one difference was with standard, which, life insurance is a minimal savings, but we were able to move to standard and save $500 a year, and they locked in until 2026. We thought dental and vision is still great with Humana, and that may give us a bargaining piece next year.
And you've shown this to both unions, and
Correct.
everybody understands how much more out of their pocket they're gonna end up paying on this.
Correct, and we had Amy Jeffries as our agent. She came out and met, emails, I believe, we've been very thorough, so.
Any other questions or discussion on that topic? All right, next item, please.
The steering committee, Chuck, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So kind of the next steps in the comprehensive plan, vision plan updates. Really the first concrete step is appointing committee members for the steering committee. I provided a list of recommended committee members to the board a week or so ago to review. So at this point, I would love to see a motion on approving these recommended members so we can start actually meeting with the committee and start to move this along.
And nothing has changed since your email that you sent out a week ago, correct?
Correct, yeah. Everyone's confirmed that they would be interested and willing to participate, and I've had some conversations with them, but the list is the same.
Do we do any advertising for the community, for any volunteers? Or did you just talk to those people?
I've
Talk them into it.
I talked to people who are already interested and involved in things relevant to the township.
I
So
didn't see any names on there, somebody brand new that wasn't on a committee already.
I think Lane Couch wasn't on a committee previously, but he's been very involved in township sports, township baseball and basketball, and he's helped out with issues in his little pocket of the community. So he's familiar with different township departments and things like that.
So how many total people will be on there?
There's 7.
7. You know, I'd really like to see some other people involved. I don't know how you get them involved, but I'd like to see that. We can approve what you have and then add to it, something to get, like I said, some different people, see if we can find some different people to get involved.
And I think too, to kind of address that concern too, is I think throughout the process itself, aren't there mechanisms to involve the community?
Yeah, there's a number of public meetings and public hearings and open houses that are going to be, that'll take place throughout the process.
So there's still an opportunity for people to weigh in if they.
Yeah, and we're going to create like a virtual component to it also to give residents who aren't willing or able to make it to a public meeting to participate also.
Okay, well, I move to appoint the 7 committee members to the Vision Steering Committee.
Is there a second?
No.
Can I second that even though I'm on that? I can do that, right?
Yes.
Okay, second.
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
Okay, next item.
Pickleball update, we are not much farther than we were before. I saw that Game Changer, they did send some renderings today. We're still holding out. The ODNR grant should open, and I really think that's the way to go to start here at the Heroes Park, put in the 4 courts like discussed, see how that works, and then the board can decide if they'd like to add to the second park. Just think that's the most cost-effective way to move forward. And Game Changer also is in Sourcewell and has the proper pricing, state bid pricing.
I like going for a grant on that. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll keep you posted on when that opens and needs to be submitted.
Well, since the last meeting, I saw another pickleball court where they had taken the actual tennis court itself, left the net up, and put pickleball on each side of it. And it was, I mean, basically, it was no cost to it. I'd be interested in seeing what that looked like and what kind of draw it came before we take some more dirt, move some more dirt, and put some more asphalt down.
Did they line it for pickleball? Because we did that here.
It was lined for pickleball.
Okay, yes.
So the proposal is that there's no additional asphalt at Heroes Park, no additional pavement. It's just kind of shifting nets around, and there's space on one tennis ball court for, I guess tennis court, not tennis ball court, for 4 pickleball courts. So it's not additional pavement, it's
Fencing.
pulling up it's a lot of cost and fence, it's a decent cost in fencing, but it creates a little more, delineation between the courts.
There were no additional fences. And like I said, it played the same way. The net on the tennis court was actually the divider between the 2 courts. So there was one over here and one over here.
So there's one tennis court and then 2 pickleball courts.
Pickleball courts on going the same way. You couldn't play tennis on.
Yeah.
They had the pickleball nets on it.
They were installed pickleball nets, they weren't portable, correct?
Yes.
They kind of leave the existing tennis court as a fenced device.
Yes, it was a
Right. Yeah.
I think,
It worked fine.
I think Chuck has a dog and he throws a tennis ball to the dog. I think that's why he keeps in there.
That's the only time I touch it in this
Tennis ball court,
Pickle court.
pickle court.
So that would cost us very little money. See how that works. Couple of nets and some paint.
So, you would suggest, eliminating one of the courts here and putting 2 pickleball courts in its place.
Or on it, just on it, right?
And now, this place that you saw, did it have 2 tennis courts and they were converting it into,
And they had 2 tennis courts and they left one for tennis.
okay.
And they took this one and made it into 2 pickleball courts.
I'd be interested in seeing that
Is
because
that
I'm
what
concerned
I'm
about,
hearing that you were wanting to do that, but make it 4?
Yeah, the quotes that we received are for 4. So it's basically the same location where the tennis court net is currently at. It's the divider line. We put it in a fence in its place, but instead of having just one on each side, we did 2 on each side in fence dividers and updating of the current fencing and things like that.
Okay, so it sounds like it's somewhat similar. Might I suggest that Trustee McAbey, you get with Mr. Goins and map out what that would look like so that we can do an apples to apples comparison of what that would be? And that would probably give some more clarity to the board for what your idea is too, so that we can consider that.
Well, again, you're not, all the additional cost is going to be for the 2 fences. I mean, for the 2 tennis ball pickle court nets, or whatever you want to call them.
installation
Right.
of those into the ground.
Is it local where Chuck and I could go and look at it?
I don't know, they may have it local, this one was not.
Okay, all right.
Could you share that, maybe information with, Mr. Gomez, and maybe he can look online and maybe there's pictures of it online?
I can draw it for them.
Well, I'd like to see it.
I've seen conversions like that.
Okay.
It's a lower cost way to implement it. If we were looking long term, we would have to remove those tennis court pickle ball court nets. Yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay.
Okay, so we look forward to hearing more on those topics. Fire Department Deputy Chief and increased full-time staffing.
Yes, so I did get some information, but the expert will be Chief Berger.
All right, so I'll start with the request for an increase in full-time staffing. Our daily operation sets aside 50% of our daily personnel for part-time staff, which would require a total of 42 part-time firefighters. We currently have 19 that work a set schedule and 5 that work what's referred to as PRN, or as an as-needed position. So what that leaves us is 23 short, and we simply can't keep up. As fast as we hire, the limited number that we hire, we lose them. The last one we lost before we could actually get him through training. We actually lost him to the city of Middletown, who hired him full-time. So the part-time system, while we've talked about the fact that it's broken, the problem is accelerating as other departments increase their full-time staffing. So that leaves us 23 short. From a dollar standpoint, 3 part-time firefighters equal the cost of 1 full-time firefighter, which is where I got the request for 6 that number came from. It's actually 7.4, 7.5, but to evenly distribute 2 across each shift, I'm asking for 6. Any questions about staffing?
Can we do anything with the SAFER grant?
So we've applied for the SAFER grant in the past, and I don't have a lot of details because I wasn't intimately involved with it. But I know we have been turned down repeatedly for it, but that's something we could certainly look at for next year.
So what is our staffing today? What's our number?
The goal, or what's our minimum?
What's our number?
We want 14 a day. We want 14 a day, 11 is the minimum.
Who is we want?
The fire
What does that
department.
mean?
The fire department.
Well, what does that mean? How many people per shift or per building or whatever?
So today you have 5 per building with the shift captain for a total of 11. The goal and what we budget for is 13 to 14, 14 being optimal, which adds a third ambulance to our daily operation. But we haven't hit 13, maybe 20% of the time this year. So we're operating at minimum. The problem is to operate even at that minimum takes part-timers that we simply don't have and we can't keep.
So our number is 14.
Yes, that's the goal, is 14.
6 in each building and a supervisor.
7 at the 212, 6 at the ones here, and then a shift supervisor, yes. And I can break all that down, you know, in a chart that explains it better.
Okay, you got it with you?
I don't.
I'd like to see that.
Yep.
You know, I've been asking for that for years and
I can provide that.
haven't got it lately. So, where we're at, where we've been and where we're going.
Yep.
I'd like to see the calls, things like that.
Okay.
Just to have a better understanding of what's going on.
Okay, I can do that. Any other questions about the
I
staff?
like paper copies.
No email?
I like paper copies. I've been requesting that this is my 21st year. I've been asking for paper and I still like paper so I can see it.
Noted.
I appreciate it.
Any other questions about the staffing?
Anything else to do with staffing we need to know about?
Just the deputy chief that I'm getting ready to talk about.
Deputy chief. That's a new title for us, isn't it?
It is a change, yeah, and I'll get to the explanation.
Is that one of the 14?
No.
Are you one of the 14?
No.
I'd also like to see our staff, maybe experience-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah, how many brand new, how many
we have it.
fully trained?
Okay.
Can you put it on the same chart?
I can put it on the same chart, print it out. I'll print it big. All right, so in 2023, Matt Schumann left us, which left the assistant chief position vacated. We simply didn't fill it. In September of 2022, we took our training captain and put him on shift. I can't give you the exact reason for it at the time. I wasn't involved with that decision. But the training captain was replaced with a captain of fire prevention. So the deputy fire chief would be a consolidation of these two positions. So why the change from assistant chief to deputy chief? Honestly, it's semantics. Historically in the fire service, the deputy chief is more of an operations or a hands-on administrative spot, whereas an assistant chief is more geared toward and focused on almost exclusively administrative duties. So the training responsibilities for this deputy chief would be to develop and maintain department training and safety program. He'd be responsible, or they would be responsible, for the overall management of fire and EMS training, training development, delivery, identifying training needs, developing lesson plans, delivering training to each shift, which would provide consistency in our operation. He'd be responsible for ensuring that we're meeting state requirements, ensuring all members are receiving the proper number of CEUs for their 3-year cycle for certifications in the different fields that they're certified in. And they would also be responsible for maintaining the proper documentation for that training. So there's a lot of administrative work that goes into it, but it is focused heavily on interaction with the crews on a daily basis, making sure that they have the training they need to do the jobs that they're called to do. Currently, that responsibility falls to the 3 shift captains. Only one of the 3 of them being a certified fire instructor in the state of Ohio. It's my opinion that this model is ineffective, doesn't provide for consistent delivery of training, and what that actually does is each crew gets a different version of the training topic depending on who's delivering the topic or the message. So what consolidating these 2 positions into a training position would do would give us consistency across all 3 days, which would give us more standard outcomes when we respond to emergencies. That was a lot. Sure. I can put it to paper.
So you already got it.
I will get you out. It is not, no. I have a job description typed for that position. Ms. Vonderhaar, I think I might have sent that to you. I think I did. As well as the explanation for that position was sent.
Okay, so we'll look for more information on this.
Yes.
And this is something that you brought, this is nothing new for the board. This is something that has been on our radar for a while. So I'll look forward to getting some more information on that.
Great.
Anything further on these topics? Any other questions? Okay. Under communications, I don't think we have any residents to speak this evening. So we'll move forward to the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any trustee may remove an item from the consent agenda by request. No second is required for removal of an item. Items removed for separate discussion will be considered after the motion to approve the consent agenda. Given that, I move to adopt the current consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Is that for both sections of it?
Yes, that's through the fiscal office business, all the way down through resolutions, consent agenda items.
The 4 police officers, are they new positions? Or new people?
They were the ones that were approved to be paid for at the academy.
Okay.
They graduated, they obtained their certificates, they passed the test. And so in essence, it's a change in status
Okay.
from essentially civilian to sworn.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any further questions?
Just for quick clarification, the fiscal office business is items A through C and resolutions are items A through G. Just for the public's knowledge.
Thank you.
Good.
Great. Do we have a second?
Yes. Trustee Harkemaier.
Yes,
Trustee Birding.
Yes.
Trustee McAbey.
Yes?
and those pass, and that is A through C, and then resolutions A through G. We will now move on to fiscal officer's report.
Okay, I have 3 items for you this evening. The first one is, in the meeting on March 19th, a motion was made to begin the process of negotiating a contract with CDA for the fire station repairs. Is that right? We have since negotiated with them a contract, and since the motion wasn't really clear, I was going to ask the board for another motion that said we could contract with CDA not to exceed an amount of $40,000. This came about because Mr. Gollins was negotiating this, is that right? Contract, or was it you?
It was a combination of all of us, including Mr. Geis.
Okay, so then when I received it, I just thought the motion maybe needed to be more clear to make sure that it was okay to pay. So that's what I'm requesting. Make sense?
Do you have a copy of the old motion?
Well, I have the minutes, which says the motion.
Could you read that for us?
Yes, it says motion made by Mr. McAbey, second by Mrs. Harkemaier to begin the process of negotiating a contract with CDA.
To begin negotiating.
Right.
So we definitely need something else.
Yes, we do.
Before we sign the contract
Right.
and agree to pay.
That's what I'm requesting.
I haven't seen the contract. I mean, legal's probably looked at it, right?
Yes, it's my understanding Larry reviewed the contract.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Could you summarize it for us?
I don't know if I could summarize it. I can tell you it is less than $40,000. I don't really know a whole lot about that.
What's the scope of work?
Scope narrative, complete program description and related design plans, generic furniture plans, descriptive specifications, and site planning.
They're going to tell us how to fix the problem.
You probably can help a little better with this.
they'll give recommendations, and then we would have to find I'd recommend design build, but there's that whole process of going out for requests for proposal, and then qualifications, and so they're just designing and giving suggestions, and they are going to give a cafeteria style menu so that you can see different options and be comfortable with the price point. And there are certain things that just need to be fixed because there are leaks there, and then there are other things that are aesthetics that you might decide, no, we and I'd also invite anyone to walk over and see the day room and kitchen. It really, it needs some work.
Did they say how many hours they're gonna give us, or?
I think it did.
They gave us a cap.
The time frame?
Sorry, I did not read this totally.
Time frame will depend on us.
Do we want to just put this sounds like we need a little bit more due diligence time, so should we go ahead and put this on the next meeting agenda?
We can.
Because it sounds like we need to do some more preparation for the board and some more time, because there seems to be a lot of questions on that. So shall we just put this on the August agenda, or is there a feeling that we're ready to move forward with this tonight? And I'll put that to my fellow trustees.
Well, I know it's work that has to be done. I know the building is in bad shape. I feel like the longer we delay, we knew this was coming up. We wanted to work with them. This seems to be a reasonable number. Chief Berger, have you looked over the contract to see if it's looking at?
I've not seen the contract, no.
Okay. Well, I guess since we haven't seen the contract yet, we should probably at least
But you saw the scope of work and discussed that. You were part of the team that discussed.
We discussed it.
So,
Yeah, the contract includes work that we've already kind of discussed with CDA. I think you seem to be pretty comfortable with what all we've discussed with them and what's included in the scope of work. Right. Yeah, I don't think you've read the contract word for word, but you understand what the expectations are from CDA. Right.
Okay, so do we want to go ahead and move, are we comfortable moving forward with this tonight?
I mean,
Or what is staff recommendation on that?
yeah, we've reviewed it, and I mean, that's our job to look at all those things. We've had several meetings. We've involved the architect, we've involved Chuck, we've involved Chief Berger, we've involved myself, we've involved Ken Geis. So everything is ready, as a reasonable price, and I would recommend that we pass it and move forward. And then at that point, the board will have a better understanding of the different options, what needs to be repaired, what could be added. So that's really the more critical piece, is getting them hired so that we can get the process started.
and due to the fact that legal has looked at this and doesn't have a problem with the contract, the fact that it falls under the scope of work that we wanted them to do, and the fact that it's the company that we approved to work with, and the fact that the conditions of our fire headquarters are deteriorating, is my opinion that we should move forward with it. We're not committing to spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on repair. We're just agreeing to work with the people that we've already approved to work with. And so with that being said, I move to approve the contract to move forward with CDA, not to exceed $40,000.
Second.
Any further discussion?
When did you get that, Kelly?
I really don't know. It was just on my desk. I don't know. But I just thought that the motion maybe needed to be more
No,
clear.
you couldn't move forward with what we've already done.
Right, so. That's why. And I wasn't sure if there would need a resolution, so I just asked Katie when she came in, and she said a motion be fine, so.
The resolution would have been better than a motion, since we're sitting here, the building's falling apart, and it's nowhere on the agenda for tonight, that we're gonna talk about this. We need to move forward.
Good. Trustee Birdie?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes. And I think this is a decision that we made months ago, and I think this is just solidifying the decision that we made months ago. Am I correct? in that?
That is correct. I think that was from your March.
It
Right,
was.
so this was something we decided to do. It just sounds like we needed to tighten up the controls on it a little bit.
Yes. I just wanted be more
Thanks for
specific.
bringing it to a show.
Okay. Okay, my next item to discuss, and this is really just an FYI, but our JED payment for the Hamilton Indian Springs JED last month was $97,000, more than average. And I want to explain because Rita, who administers that JED, holds a retainer throughout the year. And then once they close the year, they refund us whatever they didn't use. So $25,000 of that was a once a year refund. So I didn't want you to expect that kind of money every month. So that's why. And my last thing was, I did misspeak on the opioid. We do have that money appropriated. So if you would like to move forward with that, I have $15,000 in that account. I remember amending appropriations for something we bought, the fire, but I didn't know that I did more, and I did, and I just checked it. So if you would like to move forward with that, I do have the money, but again, that's still up to you.
We could do that as a motion tonight if we so choose.
You could do the motion to go ahead and pay it, and then there would be nothing needed to amend appropriations. I have 15,000, a little over 15,000 in there that's not encumbered or accounted for. So just wanted to say that because I thought I was going to have to amend. And that's all I have.
It's appropriated but not encumbered.
Yes, it's appropriated but not encumbered. But again, that's up to you. I just wanted to be clear since we waited so that I could amend appropriations and I don't need to. And that's all I have.
I have a question. Sure. So, I know that we, had to respond to the auditor, not the auditor, but the audit request.
Yes.
If I remember, there was another email about some sort of training that we have to do. Is that?
Yes, the fraud training.
Okay.
That's a requirement now for all elected officials and employees. I think the date was like September 28th,
Okay.
has to be done. Mrs. Vonderhaar sent out an email to all managers to
Yes.
get their staff to do it. And then new employees have to do it within 30 days. And we're looking at, since our payroll is online with ADP, incorporating the video into your onboarding process, the way you can't move forward with your onboarding until you watch it and then you sign saying you watched it and then send me the certificate. So if that gets incorporated, that'll take care of all the new hires. But I do need everyone to complete it by September 28th, and I'm keeping track of the certificates I have. I think even the police are keeping track of their own, and they're going to send it all at one time.
I just want to make sure those two separate things that you needed us to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Administrator's report, please.
I have nothing further.
Okay. May we have the first resolution, please?
Resolution number 24107 to amend the 2024 permanent appropriations. This is appropriating for both parks and then also for the ARPA funds.
I move to adopt 24-107.
Second, any discussion?
Trustee Birdie?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes,
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
that passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 2494, this is a second read, resolution approving bonded rubber servicing and freestanding equipment contract for the Shapers Run Park at a cost not to exceed $118,000.
I move to adopt 24-94.
Second, any discussion?
Yeah, can we put the old spring-loaded, toys, can we put those in the roundabout? Crosswalk over to them?
That's a good idea.
I'll incorporate that in the quote request.
Yes,
Okay.
Trustee Birdie?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes,
Trustee McAbey?
No.
and that passes. Next resolution, please.
Resolution 24108, authorizing the administrator to sign the contract with Anthem for healthcare benefits.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Any discussion?
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
Trustee Birdie?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes. That resolution passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 24109, authorizing the administrator to sign the contract with the Standard Company for short-term disability, basic life, and AD&D insurance.
I move to adopt 24-109.
Second?
Any discussion?
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes, that passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 24-110, authorizing the administrator to execute a salt contract with the Butler County Engineers Office for the 2024 and 2025 snow and ice control season. Price came in at $92.12 per ton, and that's approximately $2 more than it was last year.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And isn't it any discussion? It's just so sad that we're already talking about salt. I don't want to.
No.
I know. I don't want to talk about snow.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes, that passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 24-111, adopting the fiscal year 2025 tax budget attached hereto and made a part of this resolution by reference.
I move to adopt 24-111.
Second, any discussion?
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes,
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
that passes. Under committee reports, TID.
We moved our meeting for next week, so no report.
EMA, we had a brief meeting this past week to approve a new purchasing policy. That was it. OKI, we are not meeting this month due to the summer break, and we also do not meet in August. And CLAP, there is a meeting coming up in a few weeks, but we haven't had it yet. Any other board member comments under committee reports?
I'm sorry, board member comments, is that under committee reports or?
I just was reading.
Okay. So we're moving to board member comments before announcements.
If there is any.
Well, I just want to wish Mr. Bennett recovery. He's an integral part of this team, and I hope he feels better soon. And also want to wish former Township Trustee Susan Birding a happy anniversary tomorrow, 20 years. So it was the most successful sale I had in my lifetime. Still reaping the benefits from that. So congratulations to her for putting up with me. And happy retirement. She's officially retired, so cheers to her. Yep. That's all I have.
Any other board member comments? All right, under announcements, we have movie night at the park on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at Heroes Park. The Butler County Fair will be July 21st through the 27th at the Butler County Fairgrounds. Usually the Butler County Township Association invites someone from our staff to work the fair booth. I don't have the schedule for that, but I would encourage if there's any staff or fellow trustees that would be willing and able to work that booth. It's usually, we share it with the auditor's tent.
We absolutely will. We have.
Reach out to,
Yes, we are ready, prepared, have literature, different giveaways, and I'd be happy to be
I would
there.
just reach out to, probably Gary Salmon on that
Yes,
one.
yes.
And he'll provide dates, time, scheduling, all
Yeah,
that good stuff.
absolutely.
Okay, the Touch a Truck Safety Day is scheduled for Saturday, August 3rd from 10 to 1 p.m. at Bridgewater Falls. First day of school, sorry kids, is going to be Thursday, August 8th, 2024. City of Fairfield JED Board meeting is Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And our next Fairfield Township Board of Trustees meeting will be Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. Any other announcements?
That City of Fairfield is the City of Fairfield / Fairfield Township JED meeting. Okay. It's not just the City of Fairfield.
Okay. All right, in accordance with ORC Section 121.22, Section G1, to consider the discipline employment or compensation of a public employee or official, and in accordance with ORC 121.22, Section G4, to discuss collective bargaining issues with public employees concerning their compensation and other items and conditions of employment, I move that we go into executive session.
Second?
Any discussion?
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes?
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes.
All right, and we will go into executive session at 8 PM. Action may or may not be taken as a result of executive session.
I don't know that it's, that's the motion.